Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So the Republican Party is united, and you saw that last night, an amazing night at the RNC. We'll see how things shake out tonight. I know J.D. Vance will be speaking, the vice presidential nominee, and then Donald Trump will be speaking tomorrow night in his triumphant return speech that he's going to give after he was a few millimeters away from sudden death. But you look at this Joe Biden now, he's spiking again in the betting odds, dropping out of the presidential race. As we said, the Republicans are united, but the Democrats, they don't know their head from their rear end regarding who the hell their nominee is going to be at this stage in the game. You have a lot of, prominent office holders coming out over the past few weeks saying Joe Biden needs to step down, and Democrats are worried he's going to weigh down the entire ticket, even though it does seem as if Kamala Harris and some of these other options are polling even worse, and they definitely are more of a gamble. But at this point, what do Democrats have to lose? Joe Biden initially said he would never step down. He would never leave. It would take God himself coming down. But now he's saying that if a medical condition has emerged, and then if doctors tell him that he has a medical condition, he may step down. So we'll really just have to wait and see what that means, because it's evident that Joe Biden, he has a big ego, but now there's a little bit of a tune that's being changed. Are they finally infiltrating his inner circle and feeding him new information, trying to get him to drop out, or is this kind of being a little bit overblown? I personally see an argument for both ways, for sure. Democrats are riding with Biden regardless, it seems. You look at a lot of these polls where they ask Democrats if you want Biden to drop out, not exactly super high of a percent. Like, it's in the 30s, but it's not like 70 or 80% want him to drop out. But enthusiasm is low, though, which really is the key. But a lot of Democrats are just okay with Biden at this point because they just have TDS. But again, independent voters, that's where Biden really is losing with. But it's not like they have a bench or a lot of options that can appeal to those independent voters, especially as Donald Trump's support is growing stronger and stronger and stronger. You're seeing that not just with the RNC, but the events of, not even the past few days, but the past few weeks with the debate, and basically just getting a lot of people on board. The GOP is united going into November. Democrats still don't even know if there's going to be a nomination fight, if Biden is going to be, stepping down, or what happens, or the delegates going to go rogue. These are questions that they don't have answered, and it's a major, major problem. And we see this Nate Silver, former rival, one could say, of mine in terms of the 2020 election. This was the guy saying Biden had a 90% chance. I was like, no, closer to 50-50. Who was proven right? I was proven right. He was proven a little bit wrong. But still, he's been very accurate this election cycle in terms of just gauging reality, where he's saying that Biden has really no shot to win, and then he thinks that somebody like Kamala Harris probably doesn't really have that much of a better shot. But he's like, at this point, what's wrong with taking some sort of a gamble? He's getting into it with Jamie Harrison, the chairman of the DNC. And he's basically trying to gaslight people and say, well, we need to move up the convention, or move up at least the nomination part of the convention to next week, because Ohio has like a deadline, which they changed the law, but apparently the gaslighting continues. They're trying to just lie, and that's basically all they do politically. That's where all their arguments are stemming from this election cycle. So they're trying to lie to the American public and say, yeah, we have to nominate Biden this week because of the Ohio law, which was virtually changed. So it's pointless. And even if the deadline was the old deadline, doesn't explain why they're trying to move up the roll call. So it seems like they're moving it up to the very beginning of August at the very latest. So Joe Biden just needs to survive 10 days. And, this week, because 10 business days, it seems. But this week we see the RNC. So he basically has just next week, and then probably, a few days after that, and then boom, he's going to be the nominee. There's not a lot they can really do at that point. And that's kind of why you see Polymarket going back and forth and back and forth. Dollars are virtually on sale for 50 cents over there. I think he's still going to be the nominee. If not, there's a lot of disasters that they're going to have to jump through in terms of the hoops to even get their replacement on the ballot. on time. There's going to be a lot of expensive lawsuits. There's questions about how much of the money can they keep. It's going to be easier to do that with Kamala than some of these other people, but still it's a big mess. And also they're trying to get J.D. Vance to debate Kamala Harris before the DNC, which is kind of confusing. Obviously they would both be the presumptive nominees, but because of all this uncertainty, the Trump campaign hitting back hard, saying we don't know who the Democrat VP nominee is going to be, so we can't lock in a date before their convention. To do so would be unfair to Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, Gretchen Whitmer, or whoever Kamala Harris picks as her running mate, which is another thing. They want to apparently get this VP debate out of the way, just like they got the first debate out of the way. It's a little strange. Obviously Trump agreeing to the first debate was the politically smart move. This time around, it's like I probably would rather wait until we know who the nominee is going to be. Also, why are the debates all this early? It just, kind of counterproductive at this point. There were 3 debates typically in most election cycles in the past in September/October. And now you're trying to see them front load the debates in the summertime when less people are paying attention because their record is just downright atrocious, except a lot of people did pay attention to the presidential debate, but they know the VP debate's a little bit more low-key. If it's closer to election time, a lot of people will tune in, but if it's this far out, a presidential debate is one thing, but the VP debate, if Kamala Harris gets decimated early, probably has less of an impact later on, so there's also that aspect to it. So it's smart they're going to push it back as far as possible, but it is true that there is that justification for it because who is going to be Kamala Harris's running mate? We still have absolutely zero idea. So either way, when you look at it, Biden's in a whole lot of trouble. His party is divided. Donald Trump is uniting the Republican Party behind him. And that's what's important. That's the whole purpose of the RNC. Some people won't like the fact that Nikki Haley was speaking at the RNC. I don't like Nikki Haley, and I never will. But the fact is she has, 4.3 million primary voters? And a lot of them did vote for Joe Biden in 2020 and probably would vote for Biden over Nikki Haley herself. But if just 1% of her voter base, comes home to Trump because of that, that's still a net positive because that's 43,000 voters. And what was the 2020 election decided by? 43,000 votes across 3 states. Maybe it was a little bit more concentrated than like the whole national primary vote or whatever, but still, you get the point. The fact that we have a united party behind Trump shows that Trump probably is going to get, you could even argue, more raw votes than what he got in 2020. He probably has more raw support now than he had then. Elon's on board spending money on a ballot harvesting operation. You could possibly see Trump get close to 80 million votes, and Biden's not going to match that total again. He probably gets like 70 million. It's not going to be enough. And Trump very well could have an, landslide-esque victory. He could have a larger than expected victory at a very minimum, like an Obama 2008 level, beatdown of Joe Biden on election night. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, guys, make sure you guys like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.